This is a story for my grandchildren, Otis and the Puppy by Loren Long. It was springtime on the farm where the lovely little tractor named Otis lived. The flowers bloomed, the trees were filled with leaves, the farm buzzed with joy of the new season. There were fields to plow and crops to plant, and Otis was right in the middle of it all, working hard. Puff, puff, puffity, chuff. When the workday was over, Otis and the little calf and all the farm animals loved to play hide and seek. Otis loved to be it, counting what puff, 2 puff, 3 puffity, 4 chuff, as his friends ran to hide. When he reached 10, it was game on, and Otis motored here and there, looking for his friends. One evening, the farmer, he found a little calf hiding in the deep thicket of the wildflowers. He found the ducks hiding in a mud pond. They're funny hiders. And he found the bull hiding in the haystack, sort of. Otis and the animals would play until the sun disappeared behind the trees, making sure to be home before darkness fell. One evening, the farmer gathered everyone up in the front of the barn and gently placed a burlap sack on the ground. The sack began to wobble, tumble, and roll. It sat up, stretched to the sky, and went, "Arr, arr, arr." What could be in there? Then out popped a little head. "Aw, a puppy." The puppy shook his ears and raised his head to the sky and yelped out another, "Arr, arr, arr." Then he burst out of the sack and romped around, greeting everyone with wet kisses. He wiggled from head to toe, and his spotted tail wiggled and wagged and wagged and wiggled, and the farm animals smiled as they watched their happy new friend. And then, as quickly as he jumped out of the sack, he wobbled over to Otis and leaned on his tire, yawned, slouched, and plopped off to sleep. The farmer put an old doghouse in front of the barn and scooped up the sleepy puppy, placed him in his new home, and said, "Good night, little pup." Otis, the little calf, and all the animals filed into the barn for a good night's sleep. Otis yawned and nestled into his stall, and he was thrilled to have the little puppy on the farm, and he smiled as he drifted off to sleep. Puff, puff, puffity. And all of a sudden, he woke to a pitiful whimper. The whimper turned into a whine, and the whine into a yelp, and it was Puppy. It was dark as midnight. Otis took a deep breath, clicked on his headlights, put it out to the doghouse, where he found the puppy trembling with fear. He was afraid of the dark. With a chuff, Otis invited him into the barn, where the puppy curled up and fell fast asleep. From that night on, Puppy would slink in from his doghouse into the barn with Otis, where he felt safe. And after a day of working on the farm, the two friends would play hide and seek with the others. And one day, while it was Otis's turn to be it, he sat counting to 10 while the others hid. 1 puff, 2 puff, 3 puffity, 4 chuff, and the puppy had something else on his mind. Otis finished counting, peeled out, and motored here and there, puff, 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 puffity, chuff, swerving and darting, skidding as fast as he could to find his friends. He found the little calf hiding behind an old apple tree, and the ducks were hiding in a scraggly growth of honeysuckle, and he found the massive bull trying his best to hide behind a lone dandelion. But where was Puppy? Otis and the animals searched high and low. Even the farmer came to help. But they couldn't find Puppy anywhere. Oh no. Finally, the farmer stopped searching. "It's getting dark," he said. "Let's continue the search in the morning light." And by the time they reached the barn, it was already quite late, and all the animals went right to bed. Yet Otis couldn't sleep. His heart ached inside his engine. He knew how scared of the dark his new friend was, and he was worried that the puppy had wandered into the forest. He put it over to the barn door, looked out into the night, and sighed. Like the little puppy, Otis, too, was afraid of the dark, but he knew what he had to do. He clicked on his headlights and puffed out into the night. It is dark there. Just inside the forest, excuse me, Otis stopped dead in his tracks. The sounds of the night crackled, thumped, and croaked all around him. His heart pounded. He shook like a leaf. Every part of him wanted to turn and run back to the farm, yet he knew his friend needed him. So he closed his eyes and began to count. 1 puff, 2 puff, 3 puttity, 4 chuff. By the time he got to 5, Otis felt a lot calmer. Then, when he hit 10, game was on. He peeled out and motored here and there. He swerved and he darted and he skidded and flashed his lights head everywhere in the dark night. And he circled and crossed the forest, making sure to see every possible place a little puppy could hide. Finally, his light shone across an old hollow log with a little spotted tail poking out at the end. The puppy was whimpering softly, too scared to come out, but when he heard Otis, he squealed with joy. Arr, arr, arr! He wiggled and wagged and wiggled right out of that log. He squealed and cried and covered Otis's face with kisses. Aww. And then the two friends began to make their way home. They stood tall together as they passed through the dark forest, and somehow the night sounds no longer felt so frightening to them. On the farm, a warm, safe bed awaited them. Before long, a new day would arrive, full of bright sunshine, work, and play. The end. That was nice.